What is up, everybody? We are live on TikTok, YouTube, and X, and we're going to be discussing some sit start suggestions. So I know that we have a lot of people that are, going to ask some questions. So I'm going to make sure this is pulled up on TikTok too, so we get all the questions in the world. But a few guys I like tonight before we get to the comments, which will start any second now once people start joining. I love Tucker Kraft. I think Tucker Kraft has a big game. I mean, he ran the most routes of any playmaker on the Green Bay Packers last week. And remember, this was a weird game script because they were up so early and so long on the lines the entire game. It's kind of avoided the pass a little bit. Obviously, Jaden Reed's boomer bust. So is Matthew Golden. I do love Tucker Kraft tonight, though, for the Green Bay Packers. And obviously, Josh Jacobs is going to have a huge game. Fields or Herbert with Garrett Wilson? Oh, you have Garrett Wilson. I would go Fields and Wilson then because I like that stack, even against Buffalo, who will undoubtedly play better against them, right, than they did last week. I mean, they're not playing Lamar Jackson. Lamar put up 40 on them. They're not going to do it again. Judkins or JCM? I would go JCM. I'm shocked that JCM only has a projection of 8.5 fantasy points. Do we not understand that he's probably going to get the goal line carry? He's going to get all of the running stuff. And what happens if the Commanders are actually ahead in this game? Not to mention, yeah, there's a little bit of a concern when we look at the pass catching. Like Eckler's going to get like 17 receptions tonight. A shout out Eckler, by the way. Join his charity fantasy league if it's still going. He's a great dude. I did a partnership with him earlier, like a few weeks ago. Really nice guy. So I'm rooting for him always. But let's see. Trade Hampton for AJ Brown straight up. Oh yeah, I'd do that. And I don't like AJ Brown, but Hampton concerns me a little bit. I would trade Hampton for ETN straight up at this point. ETN has proven to do something, right? There's really no competition. Just pick up Tootin, right? Like that's super easy, in my opinion. And then at the end of the day, you look at Hampton, like Najee Harris sucks, but Jim Harbaugh likes what Najee can do. And he's going to be healthier. And if Omarion Hampton doesn't start, if he doesn't perform well Monday night, it might be capiche until later in the season. W or L, Chase Brown for Hampton and Kyron. I like it. I don't hate it. I don't love Kyron. I mean, I love Chase Brown, but you're getting two really good running backs for one. That's obviously a steal. Debo or Javonte? I like Javonte tonight. I don't love Debo. I know they play a lot of zone coverage, and Debo's going to probably get 8 to 10 catches if they continue to do that the entire game. But I think they're going to switch up their defenses a little bit tonight. So I also think Green Bay is going to have the ball for a majority of the game. I don't know if Washington's going to be down the entire game, though. I think it might be close, right? Like, so at the end of the day, I don't think they're passing as much against the Packers as people think tonight. I like McLaurin. I mean, I still am not sold on the Packers DBs. Their D line is fantastic. They're going to have to get the ball out quick. But yeah, Debo or Pearsall. Adams or Dunze. I like a Dunze. JCM or Kamara. Oh gosh, I would probably go Kamara just because he's going to get like 7 catches, and in PPR leagues it's going to be great. But you got to remember the Niners gave up, I think, a total of 50 rushing yards last week. So I mean, they're elite when it comes to that. They're going to stop the run. Baker or Fields? I would go Justin Fields. Yeah, I like Baker this week, but I like Houston's got a tough. Aren't they playing Houston? Isn't it Houston or is Minnesota playing Houston? Am I tripping? No, it's Houston, right? Tampa's playing Houston. Yeah, that's a tough defense. I mean, Puka was the only one who went off for the Rams, and the Rams are seen as one of the best passing offenses in the league. They only scored 14 points. Is Stingley playing? I know we got dinged up a little bit in that game, so that's a big if. I would probably go Fields, though. The rushing upside is so vast. And again, we're live on TikTok, YouTube, and X. Make sure you're following all there, and make sure you're following me on TikTok. Subscribing on YouTube, I'd appreciate the support, and following on X. I'll probably do some more written content starting next week. Got to get more active on X. My old account got deleted, and then now I have a new account, so I got to start pushing that a little more. Start 3 PPR between Debo, DJ Moore, Egbuka, Travis Hunter, Garrett Wilson. This is one from YouTube. I would go Egbuka, Hunter, and Wilson, actually. And I don't hate Debo. Like, I don't think he's like, I'm not super confident about sitting him, right? Like, I think I'm leaning sit based on last week, I mean, if he didn't have that touchdown, he would have had 8 fantasy points, right? Like Terry's going to get more targets. You just know Terry has averaged 20 fantasy points per game against the Packers in his career. So I do like Terry a lot tonight, and that led me to believe I don't think Debo is going to be as good as people think later on. All right, we got Debo Moore or Higgins. That's a tough one. I'd probably go Moore. Yeah, DJ Moore had like 9 targets the other night, and he played really well. Um, yeah. Let's see. Oh, thanks, bro. Thanks, Grant. You're the man. By the way, if you guys aren't subbed to me, please sub to me. But it's also sub to Grant Monet. Covers the Clippers, the Kawhi fiasco right now, and all that stuff, and aspiration. And follow him on X. The dude's a legend. We used to do the Baller Sports Dialogue podcast, which I hope will come back at some point once Grant, settles in just doing Clippers coverage and eventually leaves the other job once he gets paid adequately. And then we could start running the BSD pod again for just basketball during basketball season. Just breaking down film and shit. Bill or K9? Dude, K9's a tough eval. I would go Bill, even if against the Packers, and they have an elite defensive line. Yeah, I saw your Muhammad, I saw yours. I appreciate the comment. JCM or Walker? Never say never. Yeah, never say never, bro. JCM or Walker? I would love JCM more. Same comment as I just answered. Debo or Tyreek? I'd actually go Tyreek Hill. I think he has a lot to prove this week. The allegations, everything. He's going to have to ball out before he gets suspended. So I would play him. In New England, I don't know if Gonzalez is going to play. I know he was out last week. That was a big, big, big problem for them. Jacoby Myers killed him. I would assume Tua has to play better than last week. He can't play worse, right? Can't play worse. Igbuka or Sutton? I would go Igbuka. I like Sutton a lot, though. Hampton or Javonte Williams? That's a tougher one. I like Hampton this week slightly. I lean Hampton. Yeah. Got a question from YouTube. Start Love, Knicks, or May? I would probably start Jordan Love tonight. I think he has a pretty good game. Fannin or Ingram? I would go Fannin. Yeah. You just traded ETN and got Neighbors. Thoughts? I mean, you won that trade by a mile. I don't know who was giving you. Can I join that league? Jesus Christ. Someone gave you Neighbors for ETN. I love ETN, but Malik Neighbors is still a wide receiver 1 and a top 10 fantasy player overall. ETN is more top 30, 40. So you completely fleeced that guy. JCM or Mason? I would go Jordan Mason. I love Jordan Mason this week. I mean, 15 carries for 70 yards last week. If they get a red zone touch and it's not JJ McCarthy running it, it's Jordan Mason. Like Aaron Jones isn't going to get many touchdowns this year unless it's receiving touchdowns. Hampton or Saquon? Saquon, of course. Jordan Love or Patrick Mahomes? I would lean Pat. Again, follow me. I would love the support. I appreciate you guys on TikTok, on X, sub to my YouTube. I love all you guys, whether you disagree with me, agree with me. I just love discourse. Love talking ball, especially fantasy football. JT, ETN, or Lad Flex? I would go ETN. That's a tough one. Jonathan Taylor's guaranteed touches, right? So I'd go ETN and Lad. It's tough to sit JT, but Denver's defensive line is elite. So, yeah, I mean, Pollard didn't do shit last week. Am I tripping? I don't think Pollard did anything. Yeah. Igbuka or Hampton? Igbuka, for sure. Ingram or Pitts? I would personally go Kyle Pitts. Ingram's questionable right now. So that's the reason why. If Ingram was confirmed healthy, I would say Ingram. Yeah. Let's see. JCM or Henderson? Henderson, for sure. Henderson's going to have a huge game this week. Bo Nix or Justin Herbert? I would go Herbert personally. Trade Pickens and Swift for Kamara and a 10-man. I would keep Pickens and Swift. Pickens is going to ball out this week. Sutton or Pollard? I'd go Cortland Sutton. BTJ or Breece Hall at flex? Breece. If you have to choose, I would play both of those guys. But if you had to choose, I mean, Breece was unreal last week. You have to choose Breece. Let's see, Kyler or Fields? I would go Fields. Both are great plays. I think both play very well. I lean Fields is projected more on every single advanced metric website and Fantasy Pros, everything. I mean, Fields has all of it. ETN or Devontae Adams? ETN. Devontae Adams is sit this week. He didn't do anything last week. He's facing, by the way, a Tennessee defense that's actually way better than people think. Like Tennessee can compete on a weekly basis. They should have won that game against Denver. Like it wasn't for some drop passes. Like they can compete because of their defense. Um, DJ Moore or a Mecca. I would lean a Mecca. I mean, it's a Monday night game. I would lean a Mecca. I like both though. I would start both. I think DJ's a great start this week, and so is Roma Dunze. I think Caleb's gonna ball out against the Lions. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, like 42-38 or some shit. Krosky Merritt or DeAndre Swift. I'd probably lean DeAndre Swift. I just think he's going to get more pass catching opportunities, especially if you're in a PPR league. I mean, what did he catch? DeAndre Swift caught like a few passes last game, right? I know one was called back for holding. That was like a 15-yard gain and would have completely changed the narrative. But let's see. Yeah, he had 5 targets, 3 receptions. Yeah, I mean, Krosky Merritt's probably going to get 1 catch the entire game. Lincoln Smith says Keenan Allen or Scary Terry. I would go Scary Terry. You have to play your 3rd round pick, and I like both this week. Traded Buka and you get Warren. No, don't do that unless you're down bad at tight end and you have depth at receiver. Egbuka or JT? I would go Egbuka. I like both though. I don't hate JT. He has a brutal matchup this week, and he didn't score a touchdown in week 1. McLaurin or Hampton flex? I think you got to go McLaurin. Hampton, I mean, Najee's going to get more snaps this week. I do expect a breakout game from Hampton, so I think both are starts. But I just don't know. Like you're going to have to be guaranteed to be at the 2-yard line for Hampton to get any fantasy points, because he has almost virtually no pass catching based on what we saw the first week. And yeah, the Raiders defense is better than people think too. Jordan says, which 2 should you start at flex? Jacoby Myers, Debo, Mike Evans, Marv, or Pearsall? I like Pearsall and Marv for sure over Mike Evans. Yeah, that sounds crazy. But I mean, Pearsall is going to be good. I mean, we think about what Mac Jones did with BTJ. I mean, I know BTJ is a better receiver than Ricky Pearsall, but Ricky Pearsall is breaking out, and he's going to have to get a lot of touches, especially, targets, because they just have CMC. Got one from YouTube here. Sutton or Pollard? I would go Sutton, and then Pickens or Sutton. I would go Sutton. Yeah. Debo or Terry tonight? I personally would play Terry McLaurin. Now, I know Green Bay plays a lot of zone coverage. I know people have seen the video that Max posted, Loeb's Leads. A great page. Obviously, great analysis, former coach. I just don't think they're going to play at zone, simply because everyone thinks they're going to play zone. Remember when we said, George Pickens is going to have a huge game because Quinyon Mitchell is going to play a lot of man coverage on CeeDee Lamb. All of a sudden, we turn on the game and Quinyon Mitchell's on fucking George Pickens. And we were all wrong about that, right? So, defenses are so advanced. These defensive coordinators can disguise coverages so well. I think you just got to play the better player, and that's Terry McLaurin. And if he doesn't do well, you take it, right? Like, you're not going to play Debo and just hope you're right. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Terry is just a better player. Debo doesn't have any burst. He would need it with yards after the catch. And he can get that against zone coverage, but I don't think they're going to play zone as much as people think tonight. Let's see. JCM, Devontae, or Shakir? Yeah, I like... That's a tough one. I like Shakir this week over him. And I love Bill. I mean, I like Bill. I think flip a coin, dude. Personally, my gut is saying Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, but it is a tough matchup. I think Shakir is an easier matchup out of the slot. Kraft or Henry? I would lean Kraft. They're both solid starts, though. Hunter Henry's, I think he had eight or 9 targets last week. Yeah. Debo or Montgomery? I personally would go David Montgomery. He's going to kill the Bears. It's his former team, and then Ben Johnson's his former OC. What's your lock for the game? I mean, I think Packers cover easy, personally. I'd be shocked if this game is within 7 points. I think Green Bay wins by 10. I just don't think the Commanders are as good as people think. I know it's a hot take. They just played the Giants, and the Giants were horrible. They didn't know how to do anything offensively. Dan Quinn's doing a good job with that defense, but I am worried about their depth defensively. They're the oldest roster in the league. And Green Bay's really good. I mean, I was out on Green Bay until they got Micah Parsons. It changed everything. It really did. It makes the secondary look serviceable, and they lost some guys in the secondary. Do you pick up Mark Andrews off waivers? I mean, he shouldn't be on waivers. Depends who your tight end is. Igbuka or Hampton. I personally would go Emeka Igbuka. Personally, Diggs or Kayshawn Booty this week. I would go Kayshawn Boot or Booty, however you say it. LSU receivers, man, there's a pipeline. They just keep on going. Should you do ETN, London, and Joku and Sutton for Bowers, Emeka, Marvin Harrison, and Jordan Mason? Okay, let me read that again. So Bowers versus Njoku, Emeka versus ETN, London versus. Yeah, I would do it. Yeah, you're good. I think you're chilling. I think Mason's a solid start every week moving forward. Flex, Debo, Genti, Kamara. I would go Genti and Kamara. And Kamara is a tough play. He might actually come out in the sit videos, but so is Debo. Debo is just look, they're gonna give him touches. He's a prima donna, so he's gonna ask for touches. He's gonna be angry if they don't get him the ball, even though he has no burst anymore. He still is great with the ball in his hands, though, right? Like he can extend plays, he can break tackles. It's always been something he's good at. In fact, he's probably the best receiver ever with yards after the catch, especially when he was in his prime. Okay, Tucker Kraft or Juwan Johnson. Tucker Kraft. Juwan Johnson ain't doing shit against the Niners defense. I know people want to think like, oh, because he had all this. I mean, he was playing the Cardinals before. The Niners defense is another monster. They let one receiver go off and they shut down everybody else. That's what they did last week. That's probably what they're going to do every week. Trade Wilson and Smitty for Igbuka and Mason. I like Garrett Wilson a lot. I hate Smitty. Shouldn't have drafted him. He's cryptocurrency. Some weeks he could be 30 fantasy points. Most he's going to be closer to 0. That's kind of how the Eagles offense goes. I mean, AJ's fallen into the same problem. Terry or Pearsall? Pearsall's a must start. Debo or Zay Flowers? Okay, so that one is a little closer. I would say based on his performance in week 1, Zay Flowers, but I don't think either particularly do great this week. You think Romeo Dobbs is a good play? I think he's a solid play. Now it's dangerous. It's just it's an upside play, right? If you have someone safer, I'd go with him. Whoever you have that's safer, simply because Romeo Dobbs still has Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft, Josh Jacobs. You know what I mean? There's just so many mouths to feed. I just don't love playing him tonight. But there's certainly a possibility that he has a touchdown, 50 yards or whatever, you know? Last week was Jaden Reed. Next week's, Matthew Golden probably tonight. Next week is probably Romeo Dobbs. You know what I mean? It just doesn't change. By the way, while I'm answering all your sit start suggestions, please follow me. I appreciate the support on all platforms, TikTok, YouTube, subscribe that, and X going to be coming out with some more written content there too. So I love all you guys. I appreciate you guys. Let me keep answering the questions. DJ Moore or Debo. I would go DJ Moore personally. Yeah. Herbert or Mayfield. I'd go Herbert. Yeah. Flex, Debo, Hollywood Brown, Tracy. Okay. I would go Hollywood Brown and Debo. I would not play Tracy this week after what we saw in week 1. He looked horrible. Start 2, Zay, Pearsall, Henderson, Jalen Warren. I would go Zay and Pearsall. Or actually, Henderson and Pearsall. I would sit Zay. I would start Henderson over Zay. And that sounds crazy after Zay's performance in week 1. But yeah. DK or Hill. I'd go DK. Yeah, better play. Pickens, Bill, or Hollywood. I like George. I like Bill though. It's tough. I would personally play Pickens this week. Start 2, Pearsall, Hollywood, Swift. Pearsall and Hollywood this week. Should you start Reed or Marvin Mims? Oh, dude, you have to start Jaden Reed. Marvin Mims is like, if we're talking Devontae Smith being cryptocurrency, Marvin Mims is like XRP, you know? It's like it fluctuates so much. His production, like, what do you have? 2 fantasy points last week? Sure, he could have 30. He could have 0, especially the way Bo Nix looked last week. Kraft or Jawan? I like Kraft. Maj, oh, what's up, bro? That's my boy right there. Should you drop Isaiah Likely and pick up Jawan Johnson? Yeah, absolutely. See if Harold Fannin is there though. I prefer Harold Fannin over Jawan. I just think there's going to be a role for both him and Njoku in that offense. From YouTube, start 1, Hollywood, ETN, DJ Moore, Hollywood Brown. Okay, he did say Hollywood. Let's see. I don't know why I did that. I would say ETN, DJ Moore, ETN and DJ Moore personally. Let's see, May or Murray. I like I like Kyler a little more this week, and I do like Drake May a lot this week. I think he has a bounce back game. Yes, sir. Go Niners, bro. Hey, bro, it's been a tough day for Niners fans. I'm getting all my Rams fans friends because I live in LA. Being a Niners fan in LA is a little hard because LA is a weird city in the sense for football wise. When I was growing up, there was no teams. My dad grew up in the Bay Area, so been a Niner fan since birth. But I live in LA, and all the Rams fans that I have are friends are like, "Fuck you, Mac Jones! Like you're not going anywhere." Niners infirmary. Every year the Niners are hurt, and it's literally their injuries have prevented us 2 or 3 Super Bowls, which is very annoying. I don't want to play the if game. I mean, it's definitely health is a skill. So they got to fire whoever's who. I don't know who their trainers are. You wouldn't flex Hampton over ETN or DJ Moore? Fuck no. I'd play ETN over Hampton every single day of the week. And I like Hampton. I mean, you said one wide receiver, one running back. That's why I picked Moore. If you can play 2 running backs, I would go Hampton and ETN. Yeah. Mohammed says start 2 of DJ Moore, Ted, and Tedero McMillan and Coleman. I don't know why people are infatuated with this. Will Johnson is going to lock down Tedero McMillan. Did you see Tedero McMillan last week? If Bryce Young wasn't a pipsqueak and actually got the ball downfield, I mean, holy shit, McMillan was open every fucking play. He torched their every corner. That guy's a star, dude. McMillan is a must start every single fucking week. And if you think Will's going to be locking him down every single play, that's just a fallacy. They're going to get switched. He's going to ball out. Do you trade Marv for Pearsall? No, keep Marv, bro. Marv is solid. And Kyler seems to be throwing it to him more. And I love Pearsall. And we know Slick Rick is a star. But Marvin, you can't really trade him for Pearsall. That's kind of like a lateral move. But yeah, you get Pearsall. No, I would keep Marv. I think they're both even right now. But I think long term, once Ayuk comes back, Pearsall's value is going to decrease immensely. Let's see. 1 RB, 1 flex. Yeah, I like ETN Hampton. No, dude, don't get Pearsall for Marv. I love Pearsall, and I've drafted him in every single league, but Marvin Harrison Jr. is a better player right now. And I think he has more of a long-term upside than Pearsall because once Ayuk, Kittle are back, Pearsall could be the wide receiver 1 over the next 5 weeks. I'd still make that trade. You know what I mean? Like, there's just going to be so many mouths to feed when Brock's back, when Kittle's back, when Ayuk returns, when Jennings is fully healthy. That's my only concern there. And trust me, I'm the biggest Slick Rick supporter there is. And I'm saying that. I'm not going to give you bad advice because of my bias of the 49ers. I'm just telling you because I follow the team that I know what's going to end up happening with them in a few weeks. Yeah, no worries, bro. Hey, good luck to CD this weekend in the Cowboys. Rooting for you guys. Fucking need Dak and Pickens to ball out, not just CD. Juwan Johnson or TJ Hawkinson. I like TJ this week. Yeah. You traded Hampton for Tet Pickens or Hampton Tet Pickens for Jamar and Rome. So I mean, that's a great trade, bro. You got Jamar Chase. It's fucking crazy. That's wild. Especially since your bench is already good. Yeah, no worries, dude. Flex ETN. Yeah, to answer your question, I think it was ETN or who was it? Pearsall? I like both, but I like ETN. I prefer ETN by slight margin. I think both are must starts, though. I would rather sit Jonathan Taylor than either of those guys. Oh, you're a Pats fan. Just love CD. Hey, good luck to you, though, too. Dude, I'm a big Drake May guy. So I hope you guys win this week. And I fucking hate the Dolphins. Everyone was trying to cook me for saying the Dolphins were going to win 2 games, 3 games this year. And I'm like, nah. Dude, they're going to suck. They have the worst trench play in the league. They have no defensive line and no offensive line. That's their big issue. And Tua is just overpaid. He's just not that good. And everybody wants to kill each other on the team. And they hate their coach. So it's like a trifecta of things. Aren't they playing the Dolphins? That's who the Pats are playing. Pats are going to win by 2 touchdowns. JCM or K9? I would personally go JCM. Yeah, Fannin or Kraft? I would go Kraft. I think Kraft is very good. Marv or Higgins, wide receiver 2? I'd go Marv. Trade Ricky. Well, I'd keep Ricky, even though I said that Ayuk's going to come back. I mean, what are you realistically going to get for Ricky Pearsall? If you can get somebody like a 2nd round value, sure. Or a 3rd round value, sure. But if you're not getting that, it's like the stock market, right? Like if you're not getting good value on a NVIDIA single stock, right? Like let's say it's up its monthly rate is like what is it like right now? I think it's in the 160s, 170s. Let's say it goes up to 190, and you want to buy there, but you're not going to hold it long. It's just for whatever this fantasy season is, right? It just makes no sense. We just buy it at 160 once it goes down. You know what I mean? You need value. That's what's most important in fantasy football. Like if you're getting somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr. for Ricky Pearsall, I would do it. If you're getting Garrett Wilson for Ricky Pearsall, I would do it. If you're getting, God forbid, Drake London for Ricky Pearsall and let's say Jordan Mason, yeah, you make that trade. Ertz or Johnson, I personally would go Ertz, but I like both. Hollywood or Debo, yeah, I would probably go Hollywood. Kyler or Nix, I like Kyler a little bit more this week. Do you put Bill on your flex over Diggs or Keon? I'd keep Keon, honestly. Keon's upside is so vast on a week-to-week basis. After what he did last week, you kind of have to start him. Travis Hunter or Debo, I'd lean Travis Hunter. Start two, Pearsall, Judy Pickens. I'd go Pearsall and George Pickens this week. Yeah, no worries, dog. Start two, McMillan, Pearsall, ETN, Pickens. I would go Pearsall and ETN. Yeah. Ertz or Njoku. I personally would go Ertz. No, I would lean Njoku actually. I like Ertz tonight though as a streamer for sure. Ertz or Strange. Now that's a good one. I would lean Brendan Strange, and I like both a lot. Flex ETN or Igbuka. You got to flex ETN, more guaranteed touches, and I love Igbuka. I would personally play both and sit somebody else, but yeah, Krosky Merritt over Swift is too crazy. I personally would go DeAndre Swift, but I don't hate it. Like I think Krosky Merritt does great tonight. Like I think people are overreacting. What is he projected? 8 points? Like he should probably get 11, 12, 13. Start Mahomes or Stafford. I would go Patrick Mahomes. More rushing upside. Ridley or Judy. Ridley. Ridley's gonna have a bounce back week. Let's see. Fannin or Ertz. Fannin. Jacoby or DK. I would go Jacoby. You have Herb, Bijan, Etienne, Jamar, London, and Joku Shakir, Diggs, and Aubrey. That's a good team, bro. I would look to try and move Diggs, see what you can get in return once he has a good game. Like if he has a good game this week, trade him. Just because Kayshawn is actually pretty good. Again, I love all you guys. I would appreciate it if you follow me, support my page on TikTok, YouTube, subscribe there on X. Yeah, thank you. I'm going to keep answering some questions. I just want to throw that in there. Caleb or Mahomes? I would go Mahomes this week. Tracy or JCM? I would go JCM personally. Fannin or Ingram? I'd go Fannin. Aaron Jones or Khalil Shakir? Aaron Jones, probably. I don't love both. But yeah. Let's see. Pearsall or Terry McLaurin? That's a good one. I like Pearsall personally this week. Hollywood or Pearsall? Pearsall. Start one. Keenan Allen, Hollywood, or Monty? I would go Hollywood. Let's see. Loveland or Otten? Well, that's down bad. I would personally probably go Cade Otten. I don't like either this week. Start two. Rome, Ridley, Hunter. Rome and Ridley. Myers or Pickens? I would personally go Jacoby Myers. Both are solid though. Kraft or Hawkinson, can't decide. That's a tough one. I'd lean Tucker Kraft, but that's my personal opinion. Go with your gut in that situation. Those guys are so close together in rankings and in my projections. I think they're 5 and 6. I would rather go with the guy that led his team in route runs last week than the guy who has virtually a rookie quarterback there. Merritt or Igbuka standard league? I would go Igbuka, Julie. Yeah, Igbuka's I think a must start. I love Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Don't get me wrong. Like Bill is an awesome player. I think he has a good night, but you can't sit a guy, in my opinion. I always go on like their past performance and their upside. You're going up against Houston. It's a tough matchup. But the top corner is going to be on Mike Evans in man-to-man coverage. If they play zone, Igbuka kills you. If you play man, he's going to kill you out of the slot anyways. So I personally think Igbuka is going to dominate again on Monday Night Football. So I would lean him. Pollard or Breece Hall? I would personally go Breece Hall. I think he had a great performance last week. I like Pollard to score a touchdown against the Rams. I just don't think he's going to have 20 fantasy points. And I think Breece gets 20 fantasy points this week. Tyler Warren or Garrett Wilson at flex? Play both. I mean, I would lean Garrett Wilson, of course, but see, Brandon, can I? Bro, I'm not gonna have anybody on live, but I'm with you, dog. I'm with you. I'm depressed, but we're gonna be fine. The Niners are gonna be okay, bro. We play the Saints this week. Should be able to beat them with Mac Jones. You gotta understand, dude. The Niners have hurt me so much over the past decade. I stopped giving a like, excuse my language, giving a fuck about them winning a Super Bowl or not. If they win in my lifetime, that's great. I have to hear the jokes all the time about choking Super Bowls. Like it's at least we get there, right? Like Jets fans can only dream of going to a Super Bowl, yet alone 3 in a decade. You know what I mean? I know it's kind of a loser's mentality and you want to win, but at the end of the day, we're not the fucking Eagles. We don't have Howie Roseman as our GM. We have John Lynch. And he's fine, but he also missed on 2 straight drafts in 22 and 23. Only had one good pick, and it was Brock Purdy. So that's the thing. I still am in on the Niners, though. Their schedule's so easy. I wouldn't be as depressed as you, man. I think they're still going to be fine. I mean, they play. If you lose to the Saints, you should be fired on the spot. I hate to fucking say it. Sorry if any of you guys are Saints fans, but they are the most atrocious football team in the league. I mean, if you lose to Spencer Rattler, you deserve to get fired. Even Kyle Shanahan. Like, you cannot lose to the Saints, dude. I don't care what happens. You cannot lose to Spencer Rattler and call yourself a playoff team. So if they do, the season's over. You can't lose to the Saints and go on a Super Bowl run or make the playoffs. It's impossible, in my opinion. Let's see. Need one wide receiver and flex. Moore, Sutton, Coleman, Pittman, Mason, Sharp, JCM. I would personally go DJ Moore and Cortland Sutton. It's tough to sit Coleman, but yeah. He said he would add Shakir to the Marv Pearsall trade. Do you do it? I would still. Do you need depth at receiver? I would keep Marv, but if you need depth at receiver, I get why you would do that, bro. Let's see. Sorry, we have so many questions. I'm gonna try and answer all of them. Are the Falcons cooked? No, the Falcons are fine, dude. They just choked. Like Koo should have made that field goal. I like the Falcons. I had them winning the division. They choked a close game. I don't think it's that concerning, honestly. Like I think they're a very good team. Penix showed a lot. Bijan's gonna win Offensive Player of the Year probably. Drake London's a stud. I don't know why he dropped those 3 passes though. It fucking pissed me off. I have him in fantasy, so it was really annoying that he dropped 3 straight to him. I actually think he caught that one that they said was a drop. You know what I'm talking about if you guys watched the game. Like Drake London caught that touchdown that they claimed was a drop, but they didn't have enough indisputable evidence to overturn it because it was called a drop on the field. It shouldn't have been called a drop on the field. Knicks or Fields? I would go Fields personally. More upside. Should you buy low on McLaurin? Yeah, absolutely. Emeka or more week 2. I would lean Emeka. I like both though. Yeah, both are solid this week, y'all. Let's see. Do you start Achane over Bucky this week? That's a tough one. I'd go Bucky Irving. I have an affinity for him. Achane, it's so tough, right? Because if Tua gets hurt, he's fucked. And this is an offense that they might be down the entire game. And if they're down the entire game, he's going to get no rushing yards and he's going to be contingent. His production is going to be contingent on pass catching. And that's fine. But like over an elite player like Bucky Irving, I personally would go Bucky. Yeah. I think Bucky got 17 out of 20 rushing snaps last week. Rashad only got 3. White. Terry for Sutton, I'd keep Terry. I think you would be selling at a low. Again, this is like the stock market. You never sell at a low unless a guy you think is going to get lower. And I don't think Terry McLaurin's going to get lower. Kenneth Walker, I would also wait for these guys to have a good game. Like if K9 has a good game this week, you trade him because then his value goes back up. I was offered ETN for Hampton and Kraft. And I was like, fuck, I have a backup tight end, but I don't want to give up Hampton, my 3rd round pick, and Kraft after one bad game for ETN as much as I love him. I'm waiting for Hampton to have a very good game. Once Hampton has a good game Monday, I can then trade for ETN for a lower price. Why would I trade a guy after his worst game? You know what I mean? That's kind of what my thinking is for selling. You never sell low is my point. It's never a good thing. It's kind of like the stock market, right? Fantasy football in that sense. It's about getting value for what you have. And if you can't get value for something, there's no point in trading that person. Sutton, Pearsall, and Igbuka start 2. I would go Pearsall and Igbuka, but I like Sutton this week. Bench only 1. Kyron Williams, Igbuka. Kyron Williams, tough matchup. Start who? Start Nevermind. What do you mean, Marv? Who you trying to start? JSM? Is that what it? Maybe it was an autocorrect. JSN or JCM or something. Should you start Warren over McBride? Nah, keep McBride, dude. McBride's great. What's the best streaming site where you can watch all the games? Because you can only get 2 and 3 on YouTube TV. Not gonna say in my TikTok live. I don't want to get in trouble. Should buy YouTube TV and not use illegal streaming services. Full or Red Zone or whatever. I'm probably gonna buy Red Zone because the streaming sites are all slow anyways. In the past, not saying I use the streaming sites. Thoughts on Pollard this week versus Rams? I think he'll score a touchdown. I think he's good, but I just this Rams D line is excellent. It's just about getting into the red zone. If he gets in the red zone, it's over. He's also a solid pass catcher at the running back position. So to me, there's always upside in that. Let's see. Pick 2, Flowers, Hollywood, and Higgins. Yeah. I personally would go Flowers and Higgins. It's tough to sit Flowers after what he did last week. McLaurin, Pollard, and Waddle for Jacobs and Wilson. I would do it for Jacobs and Wilson. That's a good trade. Mooney or Shaheed? Mooney. Yeah. Yeah, Ryder, I got you, bro. I'm sorry. We got so many messages. McConkey, BTJ, Sutton, McMillan, Igbuka, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley. Start 3. Lad McConkey, Emeka Igbuka, Brian Thomas Jr. probably. Yeah. Knicks or Fields? I would go Fields personally. McLaurin or Pearsall? Pearsall for sure. And I like both a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I think Pearsall at this point has more upside and a safer play than McLaurin against a good defense. Bateman or JCM? JCM or ETN? ETN for sure. Titans are a green fixture for Kyron Williams. You think so? I think Kyron's going to struggle against the Titans. I could be wrong. I like the Titans' defensive line. I like their defense as a whole. Kyron Williams looked particularly slow and bad last week against the Texans, who obviously have a great defense. So, yeah. All right. We have, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to get to all these questions. Okay. Yeah. Should you drop Kincaid for Fannin? I would personally. Yeah. Sorry, I was trying to see. They disappeared the comments for a second. I know we got a lot. Mike Evans or Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt? I would go Mike Evans. I like Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt a lot. Yeah, bro. I would go. Oh, Ryder didn't hear it. Yeah. I think it was McConkey, Pearsall, and Igbuka, or McConkey, Igbuka, and BTJ, I think was it. You want finasteride? No, I'm not, dude. I don't have any hair loss in my family, but I heard it's great. I heard it's a preventative treatment. Yeah. I use a lot of hair growth, hair like whatever you call it, like biotin and stuff, and Batana oil is pretty good at night for your hair, but I don't use finesse. That's funny. That's a funny comment. But again, I guess it doesn't matter if you have hair loss in your family. You could still get hair loss. Pollard or Swift? Pollard. I'd personally go Pollard. Hunter for Pearsall? I would go. Yeah, I mean, I would do it. I would trade Hunter for Pearsall for sure. Debo or Myers? I would go Jacoby Myers. Start 2, Marv, DK, Ted, Pearsall, Sutton. Pearsall and Marvin Harrison Jr. Do you trust projected or no? I do not. I hate projected. I fucking hate it. It's so stupid. Yeah, bro. I love you too, Ryder. You're the man. I appreciate you, dog. Good luck this week, bro. We got one from YouTube. Sutton and Kyron for Amon-Ra, Omari, and Hampton. You're going to get Amon-Ra and Hampton for Sutton and Kyron? I would do that in a heartbeat. Take me, dude. You just legalized bank robbery, that guy. That was legalized bank robbery. What the fuck? I want to play in that league. That's crazy. People are stressed out after 1 week. Like, Amon-Ra is going to go crazy this weekend. And Amari and Hampton's probably going to be better as well. Hampton or JT this week? I think you have to play JT. Until we see more from Hampton, you have to play JT. Yeah, Tyreek or Pearsall? Pearsall. Let's see. Dak or Fields? I would go Fields. Kamara or Pollard this week? Pollard. Kamara's going to have a tough time against the Niners. The best thing for his production is either a touchdown, which he absolutely probably gets and could get, and pass catching. I doubt he does much up the middle. What up, Mike? Who do you flex, Ridley or Hollywood? I personally would go Calvin Ridley this week. Yeah, no worries, dog. T-Mac or Hollywood? I would go T-Mac. Oh, you need one between Moore, Sutton, Coleman, Pittman, Mason, Sharp, and JCM Royal Toast. I would go one wide receiver in flex. I would go DJ Moore and Sutton. Even though I like Mason and JCM, those are the two I would do. Yeah, I would play those guys. Devontae Adams or Bill? That is really tough. I would personally go Bill, but I could absolutely be wrong. Don't be shocked if that's the wrong choice. I mean, Devontae is so far with upside. Bill's going to get carries though, and that's kind of where I lean because he'll get a goal line carry, right? And if he catches one or two passes, that's a 13, 14 fantasy point game. What do you have? 15 fantasy points last week? Zay Flowers or Keon Coleman? I personally would go Keon Coleman. Igbuka, Pearsall, and Marion have wide receiver 2 in flex spot. Who should you start? I would go Ricky Pearsall and Emeka Igbuka, and I like Omari and Hampton this week, but I would play those two over them. Yeah. A few more minutes here, and then I'm going to get ready for the game, y'all. But I appreciate it. Make sure you're following me on all platforms: TikTok, YouTube, subscribing, and X. I love all you guys. Answer a few more. I'll go for a few more minutes here, and then I'm going to get ready for the game. Pearsall or Myers? I'd go Ricky, Slick Rick Pearsall. Kamara, Debo. Other gets Chuba and Diggs. Oh, you're getting Kamara and Debo for Chuba and Diggs? I like it. I mean, I think it's even. I think Kamara is better than Chuba. I think Debo and Diggs are pretty even. I think you slightly win that trade. Rank for rest of the season: K9, JCM, Henderson. I would go Trevion Henderson, then JCM, then K9. I think Charbonnet is the real deal, y'all, for real. Are you worried about Genty this week? No. Tedder McMillan or Tracy at the flex? You have to start Tedder McMillan. I mean, Tracy looked horrible last week. And as I say that, watch him go for like 30 fantasy points this week. Pearsall or Nico Collins? You have to start Nico Collins. I would start both though and try to sit someone else. Ricky says pick 3: JSN, Nico, Igbuka, Myers. JSN, Nico, and Igbuka, the first 3. Would you trade DK for Tedder McMillan? I mean, I want to see more from Bryce Young. That's a pretty even trade. I prefer Tetaroa a little more than I do DK, but both are solid. DK is going to get so many looks, though, with a more capable quarterback. I would hold off on that for a few weeks. Achane and Judy for CD and Dobbins. I'd keep Achane and Judy. Dobbins going to lose his job in a few weeks. James Conner and Josh Downs for Bucky. Yeah, I would do that for sure. I mean, James Conner is a sell high guy. I'm going to come out with buy low, sell high video tomorrow, so you guys can see that as well. Brian Thomas or Emeka? I would go BTJ, bro. Zay or Terry? I would go Terry McLaurin. Yeah, Caleb Williams or Baker? I personally would go Caleb Williams. Yeah, Mike or Henderson? Or Bill or Henderson, not Mike. I like Trevion a little more this week. Sutton and Kyron for Amon-Ra and Brian Robinson. Nah, now it's like that's a little much for a guy that's not going to play unless CMC gets hurt. Pearsall, Marvin Harrison, Hollywood Brown, Metcalf. I would go Pearsall, Marv, and Jacoby Myers. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, dog. Anyways, I'm going to hop off, y'all. I love all you guys. I'd appreciate a follow. Make sure you support my content on TikTok, on X, on YouTube. And yeah, I love you all. Appreciate it. Have a good day.